Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Blissful Living Podcast. I'm Rochelle Marie Lawson, the queen of feeling fabulous. And I have a fabulous guest for the show today as we are live streaming this show. And this gal is one of our speakers for the Brave, Bold, and Unstoppable Women Summit. So, you know, she's going to bring it for sure. But before we get into the guest, I want to keep it a surprise, so to speak, for you all, because I like to do little teasers and stuff. We're going to talk about turning passion into purpose and some other fabulous things that she's done in her journey of being a brave, bold, unstoppable queen. So stay tuned. So as you know, I like to have the disclaimer with regards to find a place for you to sit, relax, get something to write with so you can take notes, get your favorite beverage, and tell your family just to give you a few minutes for yourself so that you can just really absorb the information and the essence of the conversation that I'm going to be having with the guest. And while you're doing that, let me take care of some business. I want to thank our sponsors, Blissful Living for You at Blissful Living, the number 4, the letter U.com. Check them out. They have an abundance of stuff to help you unlock your bliss so that you can step into living the life of your dreams by balancing the pillars of wellness, wisdom, and wealth. So check them out. They've got some events coming up, and you definitely want to know what's happening on that forefront. So you can check them out at Blissful Living, the number 4, the letter U.com. The other sponsor that I would like to thank today is All Day Cable Incorporated. All Day Cable Incorporated is the premier telecommunications installation company. If you have a need for voice, data, fiber optic cabling, wireless access points, audio, video, speaker, whatever you need to communicate effectively and efficiently with your customers, whether they're in the next cubicle, the next house over, or across the land to another land in a far beyond place, then you want All Day Cable to hook up your network distribution because their motto is they make the right connections. And you can check them out at alldaycableinc.com. All right, so let me tell you about the guest because she is a queen. She's a badass like me. And I only roll with people like me. So queens recognize queens, and this girl is definitely a queen. Her name is Karissa Adkins, and let me tell you a little bit about her. She's an award-winning international speaker, health and lifestyle strategist for women, founder of the 365 Daily Hustle, executive producer and TV personality on Living Real TV, podcast host of Boss Up Babes, CEO of Reclaim Your Best Life program, master coach certified in life, health, and fitness coaching, two-time #1 international best-selling author on Amazon, which you will be able to find out how you can get more of her books and her essence after we have our conversation. But as you can see, Carissa is definitely a boss ass queen. So, Carissa, welcome to the Blissful Living Podcast. How you doing, girl?
Girl, I'm fabulous. I'm doing fantastic.
I love it.
Life over here.
Love it. So, you've done a lot and you've got a lot that you're doing that is trend setting and trailblazing with regards to helping women. And I want you to just share with the listeners a little bit more about how you embarked on that journey because I know you're passionate about it, right? So you found your passion, how you embarked on finding that all that is in you that is passionate about what you do right now.
All right. Get your popcorn.
Let me get my cocktail. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
my juice.
My favorite snack, popcorn. No, but for real, ladies, she just mentioned all of this fabulous stuff, right? But there was once a time that I was complete opposite of everything on that list, right? I was 213 pounds. I was on medication for depression. I hated the reflection in the mirror, the lack of confidence, and that I had in myself was just dwindling away. My energy was gone. My digestion was shit. Like everything was terrible 12 years ago until I had a big boss up moment in my life. I was pretty much told by a doctor She said, Carissa, if you don't change your lifestyle habits today, you may not be around in 10 years for your little girl. You may not be here for your kids. You may not be here for your family. And I was like, oh my God, right? Like that was a mic drop moment, but I was still in this sense of like, that ain't me. It's all everyone else's fault. I was still playing the blame game and the excuses and yeah, but I got kids and I got this and I'm stationed here and we don't have no money and blah, blah, blah. Like the whole woe is me. I loved playing the victim. I could have probably won an Oscar for, like the biggest victim of them all. But it wasn't until the next day, Rochelle, that I was sitting on the couch and I was looking at a picture of my mom, a picture that had been there forever, you guys, like every time I was sitting on the coffee table. And for the first time in my entire life, I saw just how heavy my mom really was, right? I saw what her life really looked like instead of seeing the hustler and the entrepreneur and the mom who raised 4 of us kids and like this go-getter that I put up such high on this pedestal. I saw myself as her. Right? I saw obesity. I saw cancer. I saw cleaning up after her because she couldn't do that because she was too sick. I saw her stressful life, her yes to everyone. Like I saw really my real mom for the first time. And I do believe that if the doctor wasn't so brutally honest with me, and I think like I went back and thanked her after a couple of days of sitting with that. But I wouldn't have been able to see the reality that I was actually living in. Right. Like I was just too stuck in that wheel of like, ugh, gross and blah, blah, blah. And so there I was sitting on the couch. I was crying. I had this this major epiphany that I was like, wow, I am going to be just like my mom if I don't change, if I don't follow the doctor's real advice. Like that dose of medication was like a reality check. And so I was sitting there, I was like, wipe the tears up, got out a piece of paper and just started writing everything that I knew about getting healthy, right? Y'all, I'm 5 foot tall. And at 213 pounds, I was a freaking bowling ball.
So you were as round, you were as wide as you were tall, basically. I mean, not to be mean or anything, but you know how you see those people? Because you're tiny. You're tiny. Yeah. And that's a lot of weight for a tiny person.
It was. I mean, my joints were hurting. I couldn't barely keep up with my kids. If they were running out into the street, I would have probably not been able to have made it without, tripping all over myself. I wouldn't have been able to even do it. I was truly afraid. So, I hit this boss up moment in my life and I said, enough is enough. I'm going to take responsibility. I'm going to take action and dang it, I'm going to do the damn thing. And so over the years, it took me about 2 years to melt roughly 85 pounds of fat off of my body and create sustainable health, right? Like I created habits one at a time and I slowly bossed up. And how I became a coach was, in the community that I lived in, I'm not going to say it was a small community, but for like big city, it was pretty small. But the community was watching this weight go down, right? But what they were watching is the confidence that I was gaining, right? This sense of strength that I found within myself. I found my strong through a major boss up moment. And then they were then looking at like the business, right? Because I used to be a marketing and HR director for a body shop. And like they were watching this business grow and they were watching me grow. And I just kept like climbing these steps of growth and personal development until one day someone on Facebook was looking for a health coach. And like 3 people in my community tagged my name. And at first I was like, oh, they think I'm a health professional. Like, how sweet is this? I was like, oh, how cool. But I was like, no, that ain't me, right? In space. And I loved my job. I really did love my career. And I reached out to this woman. I said, listen, I'm not a certified anything when it comes to health and fitness, like nothing, but you can meet me at Panera. Every Sunday, I was meeting a couple of women and I was helping them craft lifestyle habits just like myself. And they were losing weight and they were bossing up and they were stressing less. I said, just come on over here. And she's like, but like for how much? And I was like, for free, girl. This is what I love to do. And it just spurled out of me. And I was like, oh my God, this is what I love to do. So of course I went to Google and I was like, what does a health coach do? What is a holistic health coach? And when I realized that I could create create that passion and like turn it into profit and become America's boss up babe, I'm like, I just did it, right? I just did it. So that's how I became a holistic certified life health mindset coach. And then, as you know, you cannot stop the professional journey. Like, I am just hungry for knowledge. I just recently got board certified as a practitioner for NLP, timeline therapy, and hypnosis, which just allows me to go deeper with my clients for their transformation. Yeah.
I love it. What a great story. So ladies out there, if you are struggling with weight or, managing your health or just doing something that you know that you should be doing for not only your sake, because I always say you got to put yourself first.
Yes.
So that you can be there for those that you love and care about. Then you want to stay tuned, because I'm going to ask her. The next question is, you discovered this passion about health and well-being and holistically doing it by accident or by chance with your own discovery. What is the number one thing you hear when you are talking to someone? And I'm just going to sit with me for a minute. When you're talking to someone and they're telling you they want this, they want to achieve this, but they can't because of this.
What do I do?
Yeah.
I call them out on their BS.
Good.
Boom. And I repeat it back. I said, so you're saying you don't have X, Y, and Z. And if you had X, Y, and Z, you would be able to do whatever. And they're like, well, I guess that kind of sounds like excuses. And I'm like, yeah, it kind of does. Right. Like it's self-awareness is key to bossing up. That's for sure. But yeah, I have no problem calling a woman out on her BS in the most loving, gentle way, of course. But I take that. That's what the doctor did to me, right? She pretty much told me, she's like, what you're doing ain't working. And if you keep going on that path, you're not going to be living. So
I love it. So now when you do that, sometimes you get a little resistance, right? Because nobody wants to say, you know what? Yeah, I've got shit on my nose, but it's been there forever. And this is just the way I am, so they get real defensive. How do you let them understand that their defense mechanism is being in a state of fear of what the possibilities for them could possibly be?
Yeah, God, girl, that's a great question. I always say, if it triggers you, then you need to hire me. I said that on stage in front of 750 women. And I was like, if anything that I say today triggers you, then this is your sign from the universe that you need to hire a coach.
Right.
No, but for real, I explain and I educate them a little bit on the unconscious mind and fear, and how fear can actually be excitement, and how we can reframe that they're feeling, that uncomfortableness, as a way to get through it and grow. So I just talk a little bit about what I teach and preach, right? It's the boss up babe mindset. It's, well, who do you want to be, and how can we get you to where you want to go? But it's a lot of education. And quite honestly, by the time they get to me, Rochelle, they kind of know who they're getting on the phone with, because I'm as real and as authentic on a Facebook post as I am on a coaching call, as I am on a sales call. But I educate them a little bit on how their mindset is keeping them from playing small.
I love it. And I like the fact that you keep it real, because so many coaches, and I think you're beyond a coach, because I don't consider myself a coach.
Yeah.
I'm so much more beyond a coach. But I think so many coaches, when they get a little bit of a pushback, they don't lean into that, and they withdraw instead of leaning into that. Because when you get a little bit of pushback, you know that you've tapped into something that's blocking them completely, right? Yeah. And so what was one of the things, as you were going through your journey of transformation and transforming your own self, I know you had a moment or two where you're like, is this all really worth it? I'm just going to give up. Let me just go get me some ice cream, and, or whatever it may be. You're having a bad day, the kids behaving, you want to drop kick the kids, whatever it may be. Everyone has these moments that you're just like, to heck with it. It was so much easier to be this way. Why am I fighting for something that may not even be a possibility for me?
Yeah.
What did you do when that moment happened for you? Obviously you continued, but what was the self-talk that you gave to yourself to push you forward and ignite that fire so that you can move like the rocket that you are?
Yeah. It was a lot of self affirmations, right? Claiming of who I wanted to be. And remember, ladies, like this was 12 years ago. I didn't start full time coaching until 2019. So I had already learned a lot. But looking back now, I did a lot of the hit the reset. It's what I call it, hit the freaking reset, right? So when I'm having that bad day, I was like, Carissa, hit the reset. What do you need? Like, what do you need? Ask yourself what you need right now. And some days it would be like, you want a cup of coffee and some alone time? Awesome. Maybe it's Carissa, what do you need? Like, I just need to cry. I need to yell. I need to scream. I need to do whatever. But I'm only going to give you like 5 minutes, 5 seconds, 5 minutes. And that's all. That's all you're going to get to throw that pity party, right? Like, so take the 5 seconds, take the 5 minute, because, depending on the situation, sometimes it requires 5 minutes. It's kind of like that complaining too. Women love to complain. I'm like, girl, you got 5 minutes to complain, and then I'm over it. I don't want to hear it. So get it all out. And I would give myself that grace, right? Like, okay, complain about this for 5 seconds or 5 minutes, and then boss the hell up and hit the reset and get going. You can do hard things, ladies. I mean, at the end of the day. So there wasn't a ton of those moments at the beginning because I was so clear on my why. I mean, I'm telling you to look at your mom and to know that I was picking up her hair off the floor and carrying her walker everywhere at like age 50, 49. Like that was real for me, you know? So that why stuck with me every freaking day for many, many years.
Yeah, that's a hard one. Sometimes the people in our life are a good lesson for us as to how we do not want to be. And I experienced that with my father. He had a struggle with, hypertension and cardiovascular disease, and ended up dying of congestive heart failure. And then when I started tracing my genetics, of course, the nurse in me chasing my genetics, I realized that my grandfather had the same things as my dad, the gout, the whole like whatever Mediterranean people did. And I was like, okay. I looked at my mom. She's got rheumatoid arthritis and lupus, and now she's completely debilitated. But all along, as I was watching this evolve around me, I knew that I had to be the first person to be in control of my health and well-being. And not just because I was a nurse or anything like that, because I could see that if I didn't take control of my health and well-being, one, no one else was going to do it or could do it for me. And two, my roads on either side didn't look too smoothly paved, so to speak. My dad, died 16 years ago of congestive heart failure, and my mom is now completely debilitated from her rheumatoid arthritis and lupus. And here I am feeling sexy, sassy, and super fine at the age of 29. And so I can totally relate to what you're saying. You get these moments where you just have to boss the heck up. Otherwise, you already can see what the results of you not doing that is. Right? So just do it. So now I want to ask you this. Who do you see in our society that's a woman that represents the epitome of being that brave, bold, unstoppable chick, but also is a queen in her own essence? You know what I'm saying? Has dignity with it. And it could be an example to so many of us if we could just get our stuff together.
I actually always, this question I get quite often. I need to probably start writing some things down because I don't follow a lot of people. I'll be honest, like I don't. So if I had to give you like a specific, like they're all my coaches, they're all my own mentors because I surround myself with freaking champions. So it's women like you, it's women like Jacqueline, it's women like, Antoinette, who's my newest coach, because they're doing the damn thing. They're bossing up. They're financially free. They live their most epic life. They're unapologetic to who's, to everyone. Like, cool. You don't like me? Great. I'm not everyone's cup of tequila, and that's cool. I'm totally cool with that. So yeah, like it's my own coaches. And then on the opposite side, it's my own clients. Damn, they inspire me every day. Right. Like when Janika like says, girl, I dropped another round of beads around my belly. It's like dropped. And I'm like, girl, you're doing it, right? Like you are in the trenches, you're doing it every single day. Or it's Cindy who's like, just something clicked, right? And now I feel confident in myself. And it's this mindset, this fun stuff that I get to do with them. They inspire me to keep going because I am not just working with one woman, I'm working with future generations. Like their kids are no longer going to have to worry about what it feels like to, eat junk food or, we're creating new habits in these women's lives. And I'm changing generations of health. And that is what I'm super passionate about. So my clients inspire the crap out of me. That's for sure.
I love that. And I love the whole future generation. As women, we need to create legacies for our children because right now in our society, everything that they see is on social media or on their electronic devices. In order, I think, for kids to get a real grasp of what reality is when it comes to not only acting and behaving, but with regards to managing their own health and well-being, so to speak, we have to be that prime example. So I love that you get inspiration from your clients, and I love that you get inspiration from your coaches. And when I was saying that, because I'm not on social media a lot either. So I'm gonna ask you this, and I'm gonna go deeper. If you had to relate to someone in ancient history, a boss up, a woman that bossed the heck up, who would you be most, I would say, related to in that capacity?
Oh, girl, you're really going deeper here. Maybe Amelia Earhart. She's rocking it. She said, "Yeah, I'm gonna fly plane, not a problem." Like, just completely step past any fear of all of that. I would have to do some digging. We even covered this topic on my TV show one time, and I had to do some digging too because my partner, she's like, "Let's talk about women who inspired us from the history," and I'm like, "Oh damn." So yeah, I'm gonna leave with Amelia Earhart.
All right, so I'm gonna share mine. I'm gonna take it way back because not only was this chick sassy, savvy, sophisticated, and I'm all about. There's one thing that I do is I talk about orgasmic energy and how men have used that since the beginning of time to accomplish what they want, whether it's to conquer and divide or to bring together. Right? Not so much about the activity of how that energy comes about. It's about the energy in itself. So this gal definitely was a queen, and she rocked it like a boss, like nobody's business. And I would say Cleopatra is who I'm really connected to because she was a savvy businesswoman. She used her orgasmic energy just like the men did. And what was funny, she used it better than them because they didn't even know what was happening to them. And she was playing them both and getting what she wants. And she was a ruler. She just, ruled her country. And now, okay, we know her history and her story, how she ended. But just being in that moment, in that time, commanding an empire like Egypt back in the day that was for millennial, ran by men, is a boss chick. So I'm related to Cleopatra in some way. I feel her sexy, savvy energy. And when I go in to strategize, whether it's for my corporation or for my Blissful Living for You business, I channel that energy because 9 times out of 10, the result is going to be beneficial to all involved. And so that's who I'm related to. I'd like to ask that question because people are like, everybody says Oprah. And it's like, yeah, I love Oprah. Boss, definitely boss. Michelle Obama, definitely boss. Amelia Earhart, definitely a boss. But there's so many ladies that we forget that actually set up this energy for us. If there was never a Cleopatra, there wouldn't have been a woman's movement right to vote, right? If there was never a Cleopatra, there wouldn't have been women owning business and running their empire, so to speak. So it's all this energy that we get from past lineages of females that were strong and bossed up that we're able to channel and tap into now. So that's why I asked you that, because you're definitely a boss chick. And I'm like, okay, she's got it, but I knew I was
channel more into the future badass version of me than I do anything in the past. You have to, So it's interesting. I was like, dang, she should have warned me on this one.
So superhero. If you had to be a superhero,
Wonder Woman.
See, I'm okay.
Everyone says I've even got a Wonder Woman pin I wear every stage that I speak on. Because, right, one of my clients, like she was one of my third paying client. I worked with her for a solid year. She lost probably like 65 pounds, if not more. But she sent me this pin with a beautiful letter that was like, when I needed you, you were my strength, right? You were my Wonder Woman. I will always think of you as that. And everyone I know, they're like, girl, you're like Wonder Woman. You're like Wonder Woman. And I was like, okay. So that's my superhero that I would relate to, if anything. But
Okay.
plus, I got some major guns like Wonder Woman. I'm like,
Yeah, you don't feel those same. Well, I'm dating myself because I know I'm older than you. But back in the day when I was watching Wonder Woman, I loved the red boots. I loved the little suit. I like the bustier, how it fit and had the gold.
Yep,
The most appropriate, right? The gold belt, the gold bracelets. As you see, I wear gold bracelets. And then when she was bad, I liked her invisible.
Yes.
And she was just cute. I just liked her, and plus the gal that played her was really, really pretty. So it's like, I can be a badass and be pretty, and still be pretty and sexy. Okay, the other one I like is Catwoman. The one I like leather. I like the sexy sassiness of just having that leather all over my body. I like that she's seductive. I must have something with the seductive thing going on. And I like that she's a boss too, like Wonder Woman. They know their capacity, they take their claim, and whether they're confronted with fear or not, they have the courage, confidence to be bold and step through that. And that is, I think, what women today need to realize. And the more that we can come together and talk about stuff like this, where we have our challenges and things of that nature, we help support each other and uplift each other up. So, I'm all about that. Okay, so my last question for you is, if a woman is at her crossroads and she's trying to decide, should she go forward with turning her passion into her purpose, or should she step back and see if things naturally evolve? Should she take action, or should she step back and see if things naturally evolve? What would you tell her to do?
Take inspired action and boss the hell up.
Yes.
There's no, the women I get on the phone with, they're always at a crossroads, right? And years ago, when I was in corporate, like I wasn't even planning to become a coach, right? Like it just happened very quickly. There was no safety net. I wasn't planning on like my exit strategy. And so I see a lot of women, they sit on the fence. And I'm like, how long are you going to sit on that fence? Because eventually that's going to get real uncomfortable. Hello. And so I'm always going to say, and take inspired action. And you can manifest and you can be envisioning all day long, but without strategic action, where the hell are you really going to be? Like you can wish and hope and pray all day long. And trust me, I'm a big manifester, big spiritual junkie, but it comes down to getting shit done. And it's like the GSD, get it done, make inspired action, take inspired action, even if it's like one baby step. I don't care where you start, right? It doesn't have to be a giant leap off into the deep end. But when I left my job, I had just got done reading The 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins. And I went into that locker room and I counted down from 5. I gave myself a pep talk. I counted down from 5 and I walked into that office and I was like, and he knew within a second of me walking in, he's like, damn, she's leaving me, right? Like, because I was that glue to that company, it was probably that worst fear for him to see his marketing, his second in command come down and say, I'm going, right? But I just did it. And holy hell, my life has been amazing because of it. So y'all, if you've already been thinking it, the divine source, God, whoever your higher power has already placed that dream and that vision within you. Like you just got to step up to the plate and own your life.
Oh, I love it. And that definitely is the mic drop of the show, because I think sometimes women hear that in themselves and then they don't, but when you hear it from someone else, you have to listen, and because it's resonating within you. And I'm like you, if you're at that crossroads, you gotta see it. Otherwise, you're always wondering if you really should fit in. How that ends up. All right, so I want to thank Miss Karissa Adkins, boss up chick, definitely a queen, for being a guest on the Blissful Living podcast. She is going to be a speaker at the Brave, Bold, and Unstoppable Woman Summit. And so if you want more information about that, you can go to blissfullivingforyou.com, hit events, and you can get all the scoop and get your tickets and see Miss Karissa in action, because this, y'all, is just a little taste. We gonna bring some stuff that y'all gonna wish y'all could bring pop bottle and take home with you, but it's much money, and you probably wouldn't be able to afford it. So, all right, okay. I want to thank my listeners. Again, if you love this show, please share it, subscribe, share it with others that you love and care about. I want to thank the sponsors, Blissful Living for You at blissfullivingforyou.com, as well as All Day Cable Incorporated at alldaycableinc.com, and as always, my fabulous listeners and viewers, I want to wish you peace to your mind, wellness to your body, and tranquility to your spirit. This is the Queen of Feeling Fabulous, Rochelle Marie Lawson, saying goodbye for now. Boss up and be brave, bold, and unstoppable. Bye, y'all.